to a guy ever.
And tomorrow,
Why do you live anyway?
Are you in Nigeria? How will you not feel attached after sex? Like, no.
About every parent becomes the police in the lives of the kid.
Posing is not like me. I will just come direct like you guys do and open one ring and
So
guy, never reach me will marry me.
that's like you popping question.
There was a communication, something happened. So there's nothing like accidental
I'm
pregnancy.
working more than 12 hours because I'm going to wake earlier than him to take care of the children.
Do you know you are naturally, supernaturally built that way?
Good evening and welcome to The Lounge. My name is Margaret Osazua. Guys, I have something beautiful I would like to discuss with you today. A very beautiful topic. Don't worry, you will know in a short while. Now, when we talk about domestic abuse, the common image that comes to mind is a woman suffering at the hands of a man. But what about the men who face abuse? Why is their pain so often overlooked? Today, we are diving into a conversation that is rarely discussed. But before I give you the topic, first let me introduce you to my guest. You won't believe it today, I'm the only woman on the show. Guys, Apampa and Zeno. How you doing today?
Hi, Margaret. How are you?
Blessed.
Lady in the middle.
I know.
Yo, I'm doing one yet. The father is your baby.
Oh, I do.
That's how they behave. He forgets me when they
So you
are
are the
sick.
Come back
you
stronger.
are the-
Come back stronger.
You are the third wheel, right?
Come back stronger, yeah?
Once again, welcome to the show, guys.
Yeah,
Good to
welcome.
be here.
Yeah.
It's lovely to be here.
Yeah, so guys, what are we discussing today? The hidden struggle tales of men enduring domestic abuse.
Big
It's a huge
topic.
one.
Yeah, big one.
topic.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah,
one.
I mean, this entire week has been chaotic. We've had the two-faced saga. I recently stumbled on one this morning too, of a young man who says that the wife used to beat him. In fact, you know, most times when you hear women beat men, you're often like, your wife beats you. You're a weak man. What do you mean? Your wife beats you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But he told us, he said, and I got it off the podcast of, I think, the Doyin's Corner. Yes. And he had said something that his wife knows that when he gets back from work a certain time, he wants to rest. So when she comes back from church, she starts to play music. And she's not playing this music because she wants to pray. Because I think it's Christian music. She's not playing because she wants to pray, she wants to do something. She's praying it and playing it to frustrate
The
him.
husband.
And then if he reacts like this, he bola. I say, I mean, it was the first time I was hearing it to that extent. And then he says further that if he even tries to have conversations with her, she will hit him. And now, when he was asked why he stayed back, he said first things first, because she would always come back to apologize and say she's sorry. It's the devil that caused it. The devil used to make her to beat the man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, different intervals. Now he said for him, personally, abuse was not the reason why he left the marriage. It was more of cheating.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was cheating that made him leave the marriage. But today we are not discussing the cheating aspect. We are discussing the abuse aspect. And that's why I would want to ask you first, Apampa. There's certain expectation that society has when it comes to men
True.
that suffer domestic abuse.
True.
You know, there's this normal reality of people even calling you a weak man. What do you say about that?
Yeah, it's I think it's a culture in this part of the world and probably generally where it is expected of the men folk to exercise a bit of their masculinity. And when we talk about masculinity in all sense of it, in terms of, you know, you holding on to, you being in the kitchen when it's hot, let me use that connotation. And oftentimes it has now led to a culture of silence, especially from men that suffer domestic violence or domestic abuse in the hands of their wives. I mean, how do you want to report your case, for example, that the wife that you married, legally or otherwise, is the man over you? Because that's what it seems here. I mean, how do you even explain, for example, to the family if there is an avenue for you guys to even talk about it and settle it? How do you even explain it to to your own family that your wife beat you at all?
Yeah.
So it's seen as an anomaly within our cultural setting, and whether we like it or not, it has led to, like I said, a culture of silence, and it has led many men to their graves.
Thank you, Akwampa. Let me quickly come to you, Zinu.
Yeah.
So we've had cases where most men come out to say, okay, she hits me first,
Yeah.
and I hit her back.
Okay.
But now here is the case. She hit me first and I hit her back. If the police come into play, I'm a woman, I know. Sometimes we can just play the victim card.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are like that.
True.
You know, and when that happens, even though she was the one that hit the man first,
Yeah.
the fact that he hit her
Back.
already causes a big problem.
Yeah,
and
true.
now men are saying we are silenced because if push comes to shove, nobody would believe us.
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
I think it's our society. Our society has made women to get away with a lot of stuff like this. Because one, as Papa said, you can't even, how are you even going to say it? That you married a woman, you paid bride price, you took all the stuff to her father's house, and she's the one in control of the house, like gives orders. So I think it's just the society, because anything that happens, the woman is the victim. So the woman is seen as the weaker vessel. So you as a guy, you have anything that happens, if the woman slaps you, you as a guy, you have to like just take it in. So most men have suffered a lot of abuse, assault in this country or in this part of the world, and they've just kept quiet because one, they don't want to see you as a weaker man, or they don't want masculinity to be bruised. Because men, we have egos, so if stuff like that happen, they'll be like, even saying it to your friends is unheard of. So I just think the culture of silence is, I don't know, I'm not sure it's getting there anytime soon.
So you think that people dismiss the feelings of men?
No,
Because they feel that men are supposed to be able to defend
themselves, yeah, because they see you as the more, how can I put it, like, okay, you are supposed to be the stronger person.
You are the stronger
like
one.
you're stronger one. So you should be in charge. You should not be the one dominated. You should be the one dominating someone. So when stuff like that happens, it begs the question, like, what's the society doing about it? Because men can't. I've seen some men saying that if you raise your hand, I'm raising my hand back.
Yes. I mean, there was one we did on the lounge. That man.
Yeah.
That 42-year-old my friend.
So
that said, women don't deserve love.
So like it's come to a situation where like men have to defend themselves, and when they go to court or when they go to police station, okay, some even have CCTV at homes now as evidence.
Yeah.
If stuff like that happen, okay, something to back themselves, like, okay, this is what happened, this is actually transpired. So this culture, I'm not sure it's going away anytime soon.
You don't think it's going away anytime? Do you think there are any men advocates, whatever? Do you think there are any hotlines, anything?
Yeah, I know the Lagos State has the department.
That one is general.
Yeah,
it's not for
so
women.
it's not for men.
No,
it's for everybody.
It's for everybody.
Men.
Yeah,
even men, women, kids.
I'm talking about
men advocates.
Men advocates, yeah.
Men advocates.
Yeah.
I don't know of any.
Yeah.
Whether they are available, but I don't know of any. But I know, of course, that the Department of Sexual and Domestic Abuse of Lagos State is available for both the male and the female. I mean, I know that on rare occasions, do you have, cases picked up by Lagos State, for example, that are against the men? Most of the time, is unheard of, and the men would rather probably walk away from the marriage than ridiculing themselves in quotes.
What you see now, they're walking away most times. Most men do not just walk away from an abusive marriage.
Yeah.
Most men walk away from maybe the wife is cheating, or the in-laws are, most men feel that, okay, I'm a man. Just like you had said earlier, what would my fellow men think that I cannot handle my home?
Wife,
So most men are abused. I remember far back as 2019, 2020, I'd done a story on a man who said when his wife gets angry, maybe that's having like, okay, I don't want you to do this, you have to do it this way. This woman would just get angry and just take a knife. And that's her own fighting mechanism. She's like, and the man said that he had been telling his family members that his wife is very, very violent.
Yeah.
And his family members had said to him that, handle it now. you're a man, like it can't be that bad.
Yeah.
Until one day he had an in-law in the house and the in-law saw it firsthand. This lady, you know what she does? She makes sure that she sees blood. If she does not see blood on that man's body, she will not leave him. She feels like she has not done enough.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And that's what I'm saying. That is it now okay? It's not ideal. And some people bring even religion into it, because I don't want to bring Christianity into it. Some people bring religion into it, because I tell people that there's one thing to be a Christian, there's one thing for you to be religious.
Yeah,
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Some people bring religion into it and they come and say, the Bible says they don't. God does not like divorce. So no, we're sticking together to die. Women will not even stay anymore to die. How much more than the man? So what advice will you give a man that is in that kind of situation?
It's very simple. The same advice I would give to any woman who is suffering domestic violence. Walk away, and if you have the means and resources, take justice. It's very simple. The same way I wouldn't want to see my daughter or any of my sisters to go through, that furnace. Is the same way I wouldn't want to see any of my male friends or any of my brother to also go through that experience. So, I mean, it's very simple. I don't buy the belief that the only reason why you can divorce your wife, especially for Christians, is infidelity. Beyond infidelity, there are circumstances that warrant you to save your head first. And one of those circumstances or one of those situations is domestic violence. Once it gets to the point of you eating me, or you using any sharp objects or whatever, then it means you are after my life. So why do I want to stay in such a relationship or even marriage? So I would advise anyone who is going through this situation, walk away, separate first. If there's any need, divorce. And if you have the means and resources, go the extra mile to seek justice, because if it happens the other way around, the female folk will not also spare you.
Do you remember a case of Pastor Olumide? I don't know if you guys remember Pastor Olumide. You know, Pastor Olumide had come on today's show and spoke about how his wife used to slap him. I was part of the people that was shocked. I was shocked because his story is somewhat similar with this first story I spoke to. Very prim and proper, very Christian-y, very child of Godish, very Bible-driven, all of these things. But you are the one that is slapping your husband as he speaks. And now, quickly, I want to ask you, Zeno, do you think that somehow this perception, media has a role to play? When I speak to media, I speak to TV shows, programs, podcasts. Most times, when you see most programs that speak to domestic violence, it's usually the woman that is treated. So do you think that the media has
I think the advocacy starts with the men themselves.
Okay.
If you've suffered any domestic violence or assault as a guy, don't be shy to tell your story. Because if anyone should bring a story like this on Twitter, I'm sure the person will be laughed at. Like, half of the comments will be like, guy, be man. Like, your woman, they slap you. Your woman, they beat you. Maybe now they feed you. You start from criticizing the guy, not even empathizing with him. So I think when people don't empathize with men, I think that's what makes men to just stay back and don't want to share the story. But if actually they come on social media or come on air to share the story, people should empathize. It's the same way they're going to empathize with the woman, and they see the woman as a victim. They should also see the guy or men as victims too. Because one, if men come out to share the story, start from there. From there, maybe now social media houses, online and terrestrial can help also make the advocacy bigger. Because if the men should come out, because I can't, on the top of my head, I don't think I've seen 5-6 men come on social media to share the story.
I think there was one statistic that came out and said the number of men that are even more abused are more than the women.
I even saw.
I was surprised.
Yeah, I even saw a story. I even saw a report today online that the reason why men don't share their story, because of the main reason for this silence culture is because they don't want their masculinity to be rubbished. Because it takes a man,
a strong man,
to come on air or to come on social media to share a story. I remember when Daddy Freeze shared the story that his ex used to slap him. I was then I was not as enlightened as Gaffer, how woman could they slap you? But now come to the stage come on. if you should retaliate.
That's
so we won't be saying exactly. So when he came on social media, on Instagram to share his story, like people laughed at him, but he still didn't care. So I think the advocacy starts with the men, down now move to the media. But I think because the media has a lot to play, a big role to play. Like same way they've been doing for the women, they should also do for the men.
Well, now, I don't. If you say they should do the same for the men, I think that it starts with the men coming out, just as you have said, and society being empathic. Like, how is it that when somebody comes out to share their story, I understand that sometimes I say it because I know it. Social media is not real life. You know, sometimes what we give you is not what the situation is exactly. Some people will say, "I don't want to hear from your mouth alone. I want to hear from this person's mouth." But we have seen some cases where when the woman finished talking, you find some loopholes. When the man talks, you see the loophole is closed. But you see, because we like this women supporting women, we will support our own. So what happened to the men folk that cannot stand up to support their guy? Because most times when they come out to support, they come out with an aggression. We are not talking about you being aggressive. We are telling you, call a spade, say it as it is, lay it all out. Do you understand? And then we now have to beg the public to please empathize with you. Because truly, I get what you're saying. You know, I'm coming out to share my story. I'm telling you exactly what happened to me, how I feel. And the only thing you can give me back is to say, are you a man? Are you even a man? It's quite difficult. It can be very embarrassing.
Yeah, it is actually. And it also boils down to what we've been saying, which of course, it's more or less a cultural thing, and the belief that as a man you should always be in control. I mean, before you even start being empathetic, if you hear the story, if a man comes to you and say, "My wife they beat me," you go say, you go look and say. I mean, it's
now nothing surprises me.
No, the first reaction would be like, how your wife would beat you?
It depends on the man, though.
No,
naturally.
If a man is macho, and his wife is small, and then you tell me that your wife is, you see that reaction is what I would give you.
No, even beyond the size, beyond.
But that's what I would first say. I'm telling you what I would first think.
As a
woman
woman
is petite, like she's small. The man is macho. That when he releases one blow, like you're not telling me this your small wife beats you up. Of course, the first reaction you get is, how?
Same thing.
Beyond the size, really. But I mean, I think the first reaction before you now start, rationalizing and say, okay, what really happened? The first reaction would be like, how your wife would beat you?
Like the first thing.
That's the first thing. Even as a man, that would be my first reaction. Like, how now? You understand? Then before we now start saying, okay, what is the problem? You understand? Because I mean, it's I think it's a natural thing, and over time we've been seen as, of course, the superior being, that, must be, it's just like whenever something bad happens, especially, sorry for deviating, whenever something bad happens and you are trying to be emotional as the man, your parents will say, what's wrong with you? Cheer up, you are the man here. You understand? It starts from there. It's been imbibed in you, it's been, inculcated in you. You've been indoctrinated to the point that you have to, chest everything. You understand?
Now, which brings me to parental advice. Growing up, nowadays, female folk were taught to speak up. No matter what is happening, communicate. Of course, they will teach you, like, okay, when it comes to marriage, be careful, it's not everything you share. But when it becomes extreme, make sure that you share it with somebody so they can help you.
True.
Do you understand? So do you think that parents these days, they should advise their children, and I'm not speaking to a particular gender, also the male folk, when something is happening, when it becomes violent, speak to somebody. Don't imbibe this culture of silence. It doesn't go anywhere.
Of course.
You think so?
Yeah, of course. I think parents and everybody involved should take it as a point of duty to let the young ones know, that this thing is very prevalent. I'm talking about domestic violence on both sides.
Yeah.
That's why maybe some churches still do it, but this, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, that they say when they are taking the oath, sometimes I just be like, which one be for better? So if your husband they beat you for house, make you stay there, you understand? And it's that's why I said everybody in between should also be involved in this advocacy, because it's a prevalent thing. We've seen cases of manslaughter, cases of murder in the family, homicide, and on both sides. I mean, there is this case that we reported of an Ibadan lawyer that killed the husband because of, you know, I think the husband has a son outside, and the son was coming back home, and the wife overnight, you know, stabbed him.
What?
And it became an issue. So when you hear cases like this and you see things like this, you know, as a parent, if you still believe that if your daughter, if your ward is, you know, going to get married, it's your husband, you have to, you know, endure whatever is happening to you there, or it's your wife, you have to endure. I think you are not doing your children anything
you
good.
see, this thing that you have just said now made me remember the Annie Dibia story. Now, of course, as I said, it has been a chaotic week. We've seen all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But recently, Two-Face's brother came out, Charles, I believe that is his name. He came out with a different revelation. Now, sometimes I say there are two sides to a story.
Yeah.
But now, Annie has not said anything. Let's just focus on what Charles has said. Now, Charles says that Annie can get so angry sometimes that she will use knife on Two-Face. And then I'm asking myself, how long has that been going on? I don't understand. If that actually happened, and some people even come out to say that even in public she will hit him. Like, the embarrassment is two of them. They give themselves. But I'm telling you, there is violence.
Yeah, true.
And then you're now saying that love conquers all. Please help me understand this love, please. I don't understand it.
I don't know. I don't understand, because I don't think it's love. Because one, for you to be violent against your husband, it's a no-no. Because I don't see the reason why you guys can talk things out. Or else maybe something is going on.
There are some situations where you say talk no fit do am.
Exactly. Like they've been together, Annie and
they've been married for over 14 years.
14 years. They even, I think they did. Is it not anniversary recently?
They did renewal. I be waiting. Renewal of vows.
No, it's not even that. I think they did one recently. Maybe we went to a tour. They like
renewal of vows.
Yeah. So. Like if actually what Two-Face brother said is true, that's because I'm not sure Two-Face has ever come out to say anything about it.
He really doesn't speak truly. Two-Face doesn't speak. I think the first time I saw him coming out.
That's why his reaction initially was quite surprising. Because it's unlike Two-Face. Even at the Eats, when he was being dragged left, right, and center, that, you know, he has multiple baby mamas. He doesn't really respond to it. When even he became a center of, you know, jokes by comedians, he doesn't really react to it. Now, when I saw that reaction, I'm not blaming anyone here. Of course, I'm not going to point accusing finger on anyone here, but I felt a little bit of pity to him, because probably the initial reaction when he tweeted that, oh, we've been separated for quite some time, was probably the management was like, hey, don't let us go this route. And he now said, I mean, talker. I mean, it's unlike him. He doesn't react that way. So which means there is more beyond what we are seeing.
What I've been saying is, I think that everything we are painting is on a surface level. I think there is something more going on between those two.
And I think,
because it can't just be infidelity.
Yeah, and I think if Two-Face actually wanted to speak up about what he went through or what he has been going through in the marriage, I'm sure the reaction that people have been getting will change. Because I'm sure people now pity him, like, because I'm surprised that some people are not even taking into cognizance his own mental health. Because people just talking about Annie being in rehabilitation center, he went through this, it was not the right time for Two-Face to say this, but people are not considering his own mental health.
True.
What he has suffered in the relationship. I'm not sure Annie is the only one that suffered in that.
I think he needs help too.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if men like that should come out, if I'm sure like Two-Face can be an advocate of stuff like that come out, share his experience if he's willing to do that, and let men understand that it's good to share your experience, what you've gone through. From even, I'm sure, like, even before a woman can, I'm sure we have seen some signs. Because I'm thinking like red flags. We would have seen. Maybe you guys are just joke talking, just start to like, I'm just playing with you. I think it starts from that. So if we like,
I believe that any woman that can't really. That's why when it comes to the greatest skill you can have as an individual is emotional intelligence. If you can't really control yourself at every situation. Of course, there are times that you of course get angry. But if you can't really control your anger and you go to the extreme, and any woman or any individual that doesn't have that skill, for me, is a red flag.
I remember my neighbor in uni. She was, as in the guy was my neighbor, and he was staying with his girlfriend. They're like, what was it called? Couple's life. This babe, when she's angry, she breaks the TV first.
Sir?
Wait now. She breaks the TV first. After breaking the TV, she brings out the guy's clothes, set them on fire. After that one,
is it relationship?
I said they were living couple's life. It got to a situation to the extent that he just started chasing the guy around the house with a knife. So that's why I knew that like this. Like,
and the guy stayed that long.
That's what I'm saying. Like the guy has been. We've been seeing signs that this guy is violent. If you see this babe, you think that this babe that one cool girl, but like this guy has been seeing these signs and he's been ignoring to the extent that he went from breaking TV, burning his clothes. I'm sure it's only a certificate that the guy has not even bought. Maybe if he'd have done that, we have taken. So that's what I'm saying. So that's like men, I just advise men, please, when you see all those red flags, move,
run,
don't even
you see,
move.
And this thing I said now, you see that culture of, but I can handle it too.
Yeah,
that happens a lot.
Yeah, true.
You see something that is red, they call it red flag for a reason, and then you just say to yourself,
love conquers all. Love conquers all.
Nobody is perfect.
You're not making excuses.
Nobody is perfect.
You're making excuses.
You know, because sometimes you cannot mirror yourself. You are seeing this person. If somebody is telling you, but you're not getting it, and then you're not saying, "See, let me tell you, even though your baby is not perfect, you see this my baby, things that she's doing, she can be different. I'm telling you, she's so sweet.
She has a good side, though.
Which is true. She can be sweet.
Yeah.
Which is true. They don't all come, even people that abuse, but they don't all come off as evil people. Point to know that abuse is not only physical abuse. We're talking about mental abuse.
Yeah.
There are some people that wake up with curses.
Yeah.
They wake up. I think it was May that was telling me one day, and she said that this woman, when she wants to give birth, she will push. The baby will not come out. She will not tell the doctor that they have to call her husband. When the man now comes, the man would have prepared. Her 3 children that she will curse.
Like
nonsense and rubbish.
You push me through this, Abby.
She will call him all the names. I said, what kind of life is this? She said, and that's how she has given birth to her 3 children. And I asked the question, what kind of life is that? How do you look at somebody that you claim to love, and because you're in a moment of pain, you begin to curse it? I thought those times Jesus tell us that when you want to give birth, when you start to bless your husband, that's the best thing that you can do. And he inside to curse. But at the end of the day, if the man has anything to say, what will he say to you? It's just once in a while, it just happens. That's it.
And I think men also,
is perfect.
And I think men should stop also making excuses for their violent partners.
True.
Because if you see that this woman is violent, say it as it is. Because if you don't admit the truth to yourself that this woman is violent, you just keep overlooking it. You just overlook it. Just in spite of those things, like men, stop making excuses. Same thing for women too.
Yeah.
If you see a husband that just slapped you, the next day bought you MS bag, you think, so that can
you know that thing that happened on social media, was it last year or last 2 years now, where the man will punch their face like this, destroy their face, break their teeth, they'll be bleeding, and come on, you should have bought me Beckins. Well done, man.
So
same thing for men too. Just stop making excuses
and again, so that we wouldn't really blur the line. It goes beyond physical abuse, like Margaret said. There are some manipulative partners.
True.
I mean, they won't beat you, but what they will turn your head. You go run mad. In fact, you will start doubting your sanity. You're like, I mean. So please, once you are seeing those signs, I mean, speak up as the man. I mean, tell your stories, share your stories. You are not only helping yourself, you're also helping people in your shoes.
Going through the same thing,
to be more confident to come out, because I know there is that culture of silence on the male folk, but then we have to also change the narrative. It's very important. The same way we are changing narrative, against abuse to women. Let's also start changing narrative, against abuse to men as well.
I think it's very, very important that most men watch this show, and I hope you guys are watching this show. I've not been seeing your comments, so drop your comments. I would like to read each and every one of them. You know, sometimes I look at some men that go through this abuse, and when they're vulnerable enough to confide in somebody, if you mess up, like there's a limit to what you say. If there's something you will say like this, they will not speak again.
True.
You will never hear from them again.
Yeah.
Somehow, we women, yes, sometimes we can be very quiet, but there's still somebody you still want to talk, like you don't want to die.
Yeah.
But you see these men, they've mastered the art of silence.
Like
men that are abused, they've mastered. I kid you not, they've mastered the art of silence. I shared it on the lounge one day of one woman because of money. See, she poured hot water on her husband's tummy. She joined him inside the bus. She was holding his shirt. If you don't give me 1.5 to complete that gas man, they will not come down. Now, people that were in the bus didn't even know what the matter was. Until the man started saying, but I've given you the one that I have now. Okay, I'm going to work, let me go for where she not go come down. Now the passengers contributed money.
Oh, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
And gave her, and she left. That was how the man started talking. That's how he raised his top up and showed his stomach burnt. And then spoke to her. We had seen the signs from the onset, but because she comes from a good family, the family are good to him. He just felt she would change along the line. You don't change people. People don't. Evil people don't change easily.
They don't.
Only God can help them.
They don't do.
That's the truth.
They are not the rehabilitation center. Please.
And I think society also contribute to this because they think the way the masculinity role, they think as a man, as I keep saying it, being a man doesn't make you a strong vessel. There are moments that you as a man, you need to be vulnerable.
Yeah. Cry if you want
like,
to cry.
And
like
women too don't make it quite easy for us. I mean,
that's why I said the society.
Yes, I mean,
Please tell us how
no.
help.
See, for example, now maybe, and this goes beyond abuse. Now you are in a tight situation, and maybe you have a partner and you are like, hey, babe, like the way it is now is the only thing you guys will say is that, so what are you going to do? But I just told you. So now if now I say all of these things, you can't provide solutions. I'd rather keep it to myself and fight my demons myself. It's so simple.
I don't think it's as bad as you are saying it.
Okay.
If you bring something to a woman that is beyond her, why she's saying, okay, so what do you think we can do about it? She's not saying it because she does not have an idea at all. She wants to know if you have thought it through, what you have come up with.
So
both of you can now rub mind. No, don't cast us out like
Some
that.
They don't have any solution.
They're
empathy.
Have you experienced any before?
I mean, I hear of cases now. Wait. It's not that those ladies are very bad, though. It's not that they are not good, persons, though. What I'm saying is that for a man, if your partner comes to you, you are thinking of solution immediately. Okay, let's try this. You understand? So if you're asking your man to be vulnerable, at those moments, his vulnerability is not just to share the story. He wants, of course, an helping hand, empathy, and of course a solution to the problem. So when you are just sitting there and saying, hey, what are you going to do? You do it the first time, you do it the second time, it's not going to come out and be vulnerable anymore.
Now let's just say you work in an ICT firm and you have a woman that works in maybe a political firm. She has no idea what ICT is. You now bring an ICT problem.
Use idea. If you are not getting wait, if you don't,
you are just be empathetic.
She can. I'm not saying she will not be empathetic. That's not what I'm saying. But what you are looking for, the solution you are looking for.
No, it's not about the solution.
You don't really get Papa is talking about his idea. What if she does not even have an idea?
No. See, wait. If you come to me,
be gentle.
Wait, I'm quite gentle. If you come to me with a problem and I don't have an idea, I will be using the idea to say, I say no, you are not getting it. And I say, okay. I mean, some they are just quite ignorant. Maybe they'll just be. You just like, bro, I'm talking to you now.
They're just very dismissive. They really don't.
There are some.
You understand that?
They don't even care.
And when you ask your man, be vulnerable. The guy has been vulnerable to you now. What are you doing to it? You understand? So over time, like I said, it's experiences and precedents that have made men to, suffer in silence. You understand the society, the way they treat men. They tell men don't cry. Who came with that theory?
And
that
I
men
think,
shouldn't cry.
and I think also why men don't share the stories because they think they won't get justice.
Of course.
Because they think they don't
Imagine
they
you
don't
walk
get
to
the empathy, they don't get sympathized with, so definitely there's no justice.
Okay,
Imagine you walk
let's-
to-
Okay, wait. If it's the women folk that are being abused, there are several things that are being done, several steps that are taken.
Yeah,
Even a woman, if you are being abused and you don't have evidence,
yeah,
most times the case doesn't rule in your favor.
yeah.
So you usually have to have evidence. That's why they tell people to always have evidence. Some people will never have evidence because honestly, who
But normally,
wants
as
to
a-
be in a marriage and be holding camera and be I get it.
Well, they will listen to.
But
They will
it's
listen
still
to.
not
They will
listen
listen to the
women.
to the women
Women
first.
first.
You understand? But for the man, for example, you are abused at home.
I
I
know
know I
the
report to the
police
police. They say your woman they beat
Beat
you.
you. You don't get.
I
shit.
mean, it will.
They'll be-
people are not
That's
serious.
what I'm
That's the
saying.
same as I say your
That's what
woman. You don't
society
come
has
out for
done.
here. Your woman they beat you. You know fear do lap.
That's what the society.
You
has
understand?
done.
But
Yeah.
if let's say it's the woman that is even beating the man, if the woman cries out and say, "Hey, my husband don't kill me," it's the woman they will listen to first before they even say, "Okay, Baba, waiting happen." You understand? It's a cultural thing. You understand?
Yeah.
And every one of us is quite guilty of it. Nobody is a saint here.
Yeah.
We are quite guilty of it. It's something that we also have to change. You know,
Yeah, true.
start changing our mentality. Start changing the
Changing our
narrative
narrative,
that as they abuse woman, they abuse man too.
So even as you teach men to speak up, you have to teach them to be vulnerable.
Vulnerable,
You
yeah.
have to teach them to be able
To touch the emotional
yes,
side of
touch the
them.
emotional
Just,
side. You are not rock.
yeah.
Everybody has like a father. Everybody has an uncle.
Yeah.
Everybody here has a brother. You will not want your brother or your father or your uncle to go through it.
True. Yeah,
So
yeah.
why would you put anybody through it?
Yeah.
Now, and I will just say this as we wrap up the show before I get your final words. I would say that if there's anybody in this kind of situation, I mean, speaking up does not mean that you're a weak man,
Yeah.
regardless of what society has to say. The society should not determine how you intend to live your life. You determine how you want to live life. You choose whether you want to live or you want to die. It doesn't make you weak. Vulnerability, according to me, is strength.
Yeah.
I don't see it as a weakness. Do you understand? Speak to somebody, and if push comes to shove, please separate. You're not going to die, yo. See, if you die for stop, in fact, there's no money if you die. Nobody's worth dying for.
Yeah, true.
Nobody
Yeah,
in this
true.
life is worth dying for. What you're supposed to fulfill, the purpose you're supposed to fulfill on earth, you've not fulfilled it, and you just want to die like that. Somebody else will take your place. It's not hard.
Yeah.
If you somebody abuses you and let them hurt you, before you roll in the grave, before they go and
They
bury
already
you,
they moved
there's
on.
somebody else that is waiting just for them to put you under the 6 feet. Do you get it? So
True.
use this wisdom. I don't think this is even the time. We're in 2025. I don't believe in that. Just stay there, enjoy it now. You're a man. No, our parents should start to teach our men how to imbibe the culture of vulnerability. Speak up.
Okay.
So this doesn't make you a weak man. And quickly, I apart from you. Just
Yeah, I mean that's the message, right? Men, please let's drop that toga of you are a man. You are not supposed to be seen in such a situation. If you are abused, if you are watching, if you are abused or you are listening, if you are abused, please first walk out, and of course seek justice. Speak up, tell your story. The more stories we have from the men, the more enlightenment we give. It's very important.
true. And Zeno,
I think I want to come from this perspective of men seeking help. If you've been abused emotionally,
Yeah,
seek help.
therapy.
go
Yeah.
for
Seek
therapy.
help, because if you don't do that, if you move to another
Another person,
relationship, you still have that mentality that
Yeah.
maybe this woman is still going to
You
abuse
still be
you.
living
You now
in
be
your past.
projecting. So
Yeah.
men, please, like, seek help, get help. If you want to get justice, but at least the most important thing is get help and just move on with your life. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, and that's all we have for you today on the lounge, guys. Please go for therapy if you have to. Your mental health matters.
It's very important.
Yes.
Very important.
My name is Margaret Osazua, and joining me on set has been Zeno and Akpangba. Thank you so much for joining
It's
us.
good to be. It's good to be
Yeah.
on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
until next time,
Bye bye.
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 God has divinely made you like that.
Imagine.